The Chicago Bears might have one of the steals of the 2024 NFL draft waiting for them in the third round. How can we not be excited after last night? For those of us who still have the classic Bears PTSD, it's time to wake up. We need to enjoy this. And there's just a rare athlete. He has been labeled by many the most fascinating offensive lineman in the draft. He was labeled that by many, including himself. I profiled him earlier, and it's time to bring him up again. And this guy is Kiran Amegadjie. And the Chicago Bears, they've spent a ton of time vetting him. He had a great top 30 visit at Hallis Hall. And now we have Caleb Williams officially in the building, right? Rome Odunze, he's here with his hard hat on. I mean, the guy is just a blue-collar hard worker. What a pick. What an addition to our team. And we got to just keep this going. Let's score some points, shall we? Let's win games with offense. Wouldn't that be nice? We've never experienced that. The defense is well in hand. We still need a defensive end. Maybe we can still address that in the draft. But Amegadjie is one of my favorite players in the draft. And to get this kind of talent with the latter pick, I mean, it's just a great opportunity. Now, this might not age well. This isn't guaranteed to happen, but he would just be a perfect fit. And also, we've shown a huge interest in him. And I just don't want to pick random guys who'd be a good fit here. Every single player the Bears drafted last year had top 30 visits. And so I'm keeping possibilities to that list and that list only, so we're not wasting our time totally. So let's look at the Bears team, right? The Bears starting five, it's set from left to right. We've got Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Ryan Bates, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright. We've got center guard Coleman Shelton and tackle Matt Pryor. They're reserves with starting experience too, but every single guy that's been added to this team lately, they can play consistently different positions, almost every spot on the offensive line, and that's a fantastic thing. A deep and talented offensive line class, right? That didn't change the Bears' plan of taking receiver Rome Odunze at number 9. But after drafting Caleb Williams with the first pick, taking consistent swings at offensive linemen in the draft feels even more important for polls. And if there's one looming question up front, it's Jenkins' future with the team that drafted him in the second round. And when he's healthy, he looks like one of the best guards in the NFL. But Jenkins wasn't drafted with Poles and Eberflus, his play style. That's what won them over. But in short, durability, it remains a concern for Jenkins, though. He's also in the final year of his rookie contract. So let's just go to Dane Brugler from The Athletic. I mean, he had this to say about him. And I'm going to go to this story on heavy.com. Just a great source. I always want to give credit where credit's due. And this is a great profile on Amegadjie. So let's go to what Dane Brugler had to say. From a size and athletic standpoint, Amegadjie, he just pops on film because of his rare length, light feet, smooth body control. He has the ability to mirror pass rushers to create momentum as a run blocker. The Bears, they hosted Amegadjie on an in-person pre-draft visit. Sources confirmed, and this is from Justin Mello of the Draft Network. And this was written on April 9th. Drafting Amegadjie to compete with Jones throughout training camp, that would fully improve Caleb Williams' overall development, overall environment. And with a rare blend of athletic traits and eye-popping length, it might be a mistake to bet against the high number of boxes Amegadjie checks. And I agree. His hand usage, it's a work in progress. He hasn't quite learned to consistently get into blocks. I want to share all the information. He doesn't always get into blocks with proper footwork right away. He still needs a little more body control. But both issues are coachable and likely to be corrected. And that's from NFL draft expert Lance Zierlein. And he continues here. Provided he improves his punch timing and placement, his ability to keep rushers at the end of his length is such a huge advantage, and he already possesses impressive explosiveness as a drive blocker. He could become a quality NFL starter if his tutelage is completed, if his tutelage is correct, if his coaching is great. And our offensive coach, Chris Morgan, he is an absolutely great offensive line coach, and I have faith in him. So Chicago, they already hosted the former Yale Bulldogs offensive lineman, Kiran Amegadjie, for a top 30 visit already, as I already talked about in March. But then We spent even more time on him. The team sent offensive line coach Chris Morgan to Amegadjie's pro day on April 3rd. That is huge that we're continuing to spend more time with him. And so many times with the way that this regime works, where there's smoke, there's fire, when they spend this much time on a player, typically he's a guy that's going to get picked. The team's front office, I would say, they made sure they turned over every single rock. They definitely did their due diligence on this Ivy League standout. So more on Amegadjie. And I'm actually proud of myself for saying his name correctly this many times in a row. Thank you. He's actually a homegrown Illinois product. He played his high school ball in state at Hinsdale High School. He's a local dude. And I'm just going to continue here. I'm going to let PFF tell us their assessment of here. I'm going to go, you can go to the site gridironheroics.com to get this whole profile. So this is what they had to say. The 2024 NFL offensive line class, it's well documented. You guys saw it last night. They had potentially a dozen future starters. We've got Alt going off the board, Fashanu, Fatanu, Latham, Fuaga, Amarius Mims. I mean, the list goes on, but this profile continues to say there's one early round offensive prospect, just one, who doesn't always get his due, that needs to be added to that list. And most of the reason that he doesn't get his due is because he's an FCS product, and that's ding, Yale's Amegadjie, of course. So let's see what he did. He started every single game for Yale at right guard in 2021 before moving to left tackle. He locked down the blind side in 2022, and then he went back to left tackle in 2023. But here's like a bad thing. He saw a season end prematurely in October after suffering a torn quad, but that could work for our advantage. More on that. So the hope was Amegadjie, he'd be able to produce more tape. But when he was on the field for Yale, he was fully dominant. He was a first-team All-Ivy League selection in 2022. He never allowed a single sack at tackle, and he looked exactly the way you want early round prospects to look at the FCS level. He was a tier above all of his opponents. His physical profile, that should help him draw plenty of interest in the 2024 NFL draft, and I think he's got the Bears' attention. So this guy, he really impressed the Bears during the NFL Combine, and he just completed his pro day previously, and the Bears were there. He's solidly on the Bears' radar, and that's confirmed, and it's looking like he might be the most fascinating offensive lineman in this draft. Let's look at his measurables. They're absolutely crazy. 6'5", 326 pounds, just a huge dude, and better yet, 36-inch arms, an 85.5-inch wingspan. I mean, just a crazy, huge offensive lineman. And at the Combine, he made it absolutely perfectly clear that coming from an Ivy League school, it shouldn't be seen as a deterrent to his draft stock. And he believes he's more than capable to match up with some of the top pass rushers in the NFL. And I just love this. I want to bring more guys onto this team to be Chicago Bears because I want guys that are confident. Cocky is okay. We need this. I don't want to be the nice guys finishing last. I want confidence. And this is what he had to say. I played a lot of good players. Back at guard, I played Travis Jones, who plays for the Ravens now. That was my first year, and it was a challenge. But I'm excited for the jumping competition in the league. I'm excited to block Micah Parsons. I'm excited to block Myles Garrett. I'm excited to block all these guys. I think a lot of people aren't going to be surprised what I can do against these guys coming from the Ivy League. I think I'm going to shock a lot of people. All right, man. Let's look at his in-season performance. Let's rehash this. During the 2023 season, Amegadjie, he did not allow a single sack, just one pressure on 128 pass blocking snaps in 4 games before suffering an injury. He was about ready to go on a tear. Super unfortunate. But here, my friends, here's the silver lining for the Chicago Bears. Of benefit to us, this season for him was cut short, so his profile, it's a bit lower, and he should drop down to the 3rd round. This is the absolute perfect opportunity to get a blue chip guy at quarterback, get a blue chip guy at wide receiver last night, and still get this offensive line need covered in a really nice way. Amegadjie, he showed fully what he could do in 2022 as well. He allowed 0 sacks, only 2 pressures on 301 pass blocking snaps. It's kind of a limited sample size. The lack of repetitions, it seems like a concern, but Amegadjie, he hopes to use even that to his advantage. And this is what he had to say about that. I've got a skill set that nobody else has in this whole type of class: the length, the athleticism, the power, the explosiveness. So I might be raw, but that might be my best attribute. I'm someone whose ceiling is extremely high. I think I have the highest ceiling in this entire draft class. Man, he's confident. I love that. Another great thing to look at: he has a positional versatility that Poles absolutely gravitates to. Incredible athleticism for a big man. And as many of you pointed out, the arm length, that just checks that final box. I would absolutely love for this guy to be a Chicago Bear. And Amegadjie, he's set to enter the draft as an offensive tackle. Excuse me. Sorry about that. He's entering the draft as an offensive tackle after playing 234 snaps in 2023 and 661 snaps in 2022 at left tackle. Now, this is the part that shows he really fits in with what Ryan Poles has done in free agency so far and what he's shown as his goal for the offensive line: versatility. Let's go back to 2021. He also lined up at left guard for a total of 693 snaps. And after speaking at the combine, he shared that the interest in moving inside wasn't explored by other teams. But I believe the Bears are a bit different in that regard. It's widely expected he grades as a left tackle, but Chicago, they are not afraid to slide him over to guard and also provide some competition for Braxton Jones as well. Let's see what he can do at both spots. And he's also named 2 first-team All-Pros as players he looks to model his game after at the position. Once again, this dude doesn't lack for confidence. I love it. He lists the first guy. The easy one is Trent Williams. This is him talking. He just does everything on such a high level. He's the best tackle in the game. And to me, he's the best left tackle ever. A guy who has a similar mindset to me is Ronnie Stanley. He plays similar to me: short torso, long legs, long arms, athletic. So I like to watch a lot of his stuff too. I just pick up techniques from him and see how he handles everything. I think it's easy to see why the Bears could be interested in drafting Amegadjie with their 3rd, maybe even their 4th round pick, finishing this draft up. So let's look at this. Even if Jones beats out Amegadjie for the starting job, right? Amegadjie, he can take the opportunity to learn behind him while giving the Bears offensive line yet another critical depth piece on the roster. And this guy's motivated to make a name for himself. Coming from an Ivy League school, and his raw athletic ceiling, you heard it from here. I think that makes him a prime target to consider investing in, to see if he can develop into something special. I think he might be one of the biggest steals in this whole draft. We'll soon see tonight what the Bears' thoughts are after they dig more into the research. Even today, coming into the 3rd round of the draft, coming into day 2, could even look at tomorrow if he continues to drop, maybe picking him with our number 4 pick, with our 4th round pick. And I just absolutely love this opportunity. You guys, the live draft show was great last night. You guys are the best. I have the best viewers on YouTube. Bear down, you guys. Enjoy the draft tonight, and we will talk soon. See ya.